everybody, it's Mike from Party of Four Crafts back again. Today I'm going to talk about how to make your fonts thicker in Inkscape. Now the reason you want to do this, a lot of people try to add scroll fonts to split signs and earrings and ornaments, and they fall apart or they scorch or they burn when you try to cut the really thin parts on your laser. So today we'll talk about how to make those thin parts thicker. So first, let's type something, make it big, and choose a font. I'll go with this one. So this part right here, that would fall apart. If you were to cut that less than an inch tall, that would fall apart. So first thing I want to do is show you that there's a great tool in Inkscape for measuring how big things are. So if I click the ruler tool over here, or if you hover over it, you can see just pressing M. So if I'm on the arrow and I press M, the ruler comes up, and I hold down, click, and drag from here to here. You can see that's 1.1 millimeters, and this part here is probably even a little less than that, 0.8 millimeters. So the kerf of the laser is how much of the wood the laser actually burns away. Typically on a Glowforge laser, it's about 0.1 millimeters. So on either side, that's 0.2. This would come out 0.6 millimeters, and that would certainly fall apart if you cut it out of wood. Acrylic, it would still be pretty fragile. So we need to make this thicker, and there are a couple of ways to do it. You could try to make it bold, first of all. If your font supports making it bold, you can do that. This font doesn't have a bold, so either way, it's the same. You can make it bigger, but then that might not fit in your design. So both of the ways that I'm going to show you require that you convert it to a path. So again, we do path, object to path, and now each one of these is editable. I want to link these three together because one, you can see that there's some overlap between them, and that overlap won't engrave if you run it on a Glowforge. On my K40 it engraves fine, but on a Glowforge, if there's any overlap, it doesn't do anything, and so you'll end up having these white leftover parts inside of the N here. Also, when I expand this, I want them to expand evenly, and I don't want to have to do it 3 times. So to combine them, I just go path, union, and now they're one piece. There's no more of that overlap here or here, and it's just one piece, and I can do it one time. So the first way that I'm going to show you to expand your font involves the paint bucket. If you click on the paint bucket, there's a grow shrink by feature up here, and you can type in how many pixels you want. Whatever you fill with this paint bucket, you can tell it how many pixels you want it to grow by. So if I click on somewhere in this font, see how it just got bigger? And I can, that's one way also to make an outline, because if I click on the part that I just did, turn off the fill and give it an outline, I just made an outline of that font. And now I can cut the outline and engrave the font, and it looks really good. That's actually the third way that I was going to say for dealing with fonts that are too thin, is to not just cut them out plain by themselves. Make an outline around it to cut out the outline and then engrave the inside. It actually looks really good, and it holds together much better because these red lines are much farther apart than the black lines are. I also did that because I wanted to show you that the original black line is still there, and if you don't delete the original ONT, that's going to cause problems when you try to cut this in the Glowforge. In the last video about why my text won't union in my split sign, I talked about how with the Glowforge, if you have two of the same shape overlapping each other, the Glowforge will go through the motions of engraving it, but it won't turn the laser on, so nothing happens. You have to make sure to move that out of the way. So for now, I'm going to turn these back on, turn that off, so that I can measure it and see how much good that did. So if I measure this same part that we did last time, it was like 0.8 millimeters, it's now 2.2 millimeters. That makes a big difference. And I could just click it again and it will expand even more. Now that original 0.8 millimeters is 2.96, 3 millimeters. It keeps snapping, and I always forget to turn that off. I hate that thing. So it's now just over 3 millimeters. I could get away with cutting something that's 3 millimeters, and it's not going to fall apart. So let's undo some of that. Let's see this one. I like this one. I like the thickness of this, but there's still some areas like here and here that are going to be weak spots. So since it's a path, I can go in and modify those by hand. So I can select these two nodes and then just drag it down here, and then this just got thicker. But then that makes this so it's not even, so then I have to go in and move this to make the whole thing thicker. Probably want to move this down. Since I moved that down, it's not even with the bottom of the other one, but that's okay because I wanted to make those thicker anyhow. So I can go through and move these by hand and make everything thicker in those weak spots. Some of these places like that node, it's not even necessary, just delete it. This node, if I click off of it, you can see it's kind of messing up that line anyhow. So I'm just going to get rid of that one and adjust this back down to where I want it. This is still a little bit thin down here, but I haven't dragged these two down yet to be even with the other ones. So that helped a bit, and if I needed to, I could move these up. This might be a weakness, and it's part of the font, but I can just drag that out a bit so it still dips in. You can still see it, but it's not going to make my design weak. Drag this down and make that all thicker, and then I can click this, and then shift click, and drag all these down to make that thicker. Do this to make it even. And so the first technique was to use the paint bucket with a couple of extra grow shrink pixels. The second method is to go in and do it by hand. I still think this looks a little thin, so if I was doing it by hand, I would go back in here and adjust this some more. I drag this down and drag this down and drag this up. Drag this up a bit. And so now that's thicker, and I think I could probably get away with this design, depending on how big I was going to cut this out, and I might be able to get away with this now. This one's probably unnecessary, and it's making that uneven. So now it's pretty smooth. I could see some, it's not very smooth in here, and I knew that there must be at least one extra node in there. So one of these nodes can go, we just don't need it. Now it's much smoother in here. There's a little bit of a kink there that's not very round. So if I click on it and choose make selected node symmetric, I can make that a smoother curve. And then this one is unnecessary now. And so now that's smoother, there's no kinks in it, and I've gotten rid of unnecessary nodes that can cause problems. I see here I don't like the way this looks, so I can play with this and make that rounder and smoother, or I probably could have just deleted this one completely, and now that's a lot smoother. Okay, so it does take some smoothing out. Once you expand something, it doesn't always come out perfect. So now with the other letter, the F, I'll do this one a different way. For this one, I'm going to use Path Dynamic Offset. When you do dynamic offset, this little white diamond shows up at the top, and I can grab that and drag it, and I can make it thicker and thinner. I don't want to go too thick. I want it to pretty much match what I have on the other one. And so it went a little farther when I let go of the button. So I think right about there looks good. So that was another easy way to do it. But sometimes when you do it this way, it turns corners into rounded off sections and things like that. So sometimes I do it with the paint bucket. Sometimes I do it with path and dynamic offset. And don't forget, you have to turn it back to a path when you're done. And sometimes I just do it by hand. You'll see a lot of my motivational flower sticks on my Etsy page, the Party of Four Crafts Etsy page. And those, they're script fonts made of wood on a long stick. And at first when I did them, they had an issue with being too weak. And so I went through and changed them up with a combination of these three techniques to fix that. Now, On this F, I don't really like this loop. So let's say I don't like it. I think it's pretty cool. But once you have a font and a path, you can modify this font any way that you want. So that loop is gone now. And let's say that I want to make this shorter. I can drag both of these down, or if I want to make it longer, I can drag them farther out. If I wanted to make this part longer, I could select these and unselect that one and drag this out. So there's all kinds of things that you can do once you've converted a font to a path to, completely customize the font that you're using for your purposes. So I was using it to make the font thicker, but you could also do it this way as well. So now I'm satisfied that this font, it still looks good, it still looks scripty, it's not so bold that it's all stuck together and you can't tell what letter it is, but it is big enough that it won't fall apart when I cut it out. So that's it. Those are the 3 ways to do it. You can use the paint bucket with grow shrink by. You can use path dynamic offset, or you can go in and adjust the nodes by hand. All right, thanks for joining me. Check out my page for some of my designs. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to see more of these videos, and thanks for joining me.